Crime and punishment is really interesting in our definition of the gangster film, because so many stories tend to be interested in how crime happens, but not so much in how it's punished. Now, we'll get prison scenes, but they tend to be limited unless the movie deals specifically with prison gangs. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, however. If you look up a movie called Find Me Guilty, it's an extended example. It takes place almost entirely in a courtroom with some scenes that take place in prison. But typically, if we see a prison in a gangster movie, it's primarily to show how the gangsters go about escaping from it, or it has a sense of irony, as you'll note in Goodfellas, where prison is depicted almost as a place to get away from it all and experiment with old family recipes. Now, if we see a courtroom scene in a gangster movie, it's often very brief. It shows crooked lawyers and judges who are themselves part of the larger crime syndicate, or these scenes will depict a broken legal system that brings an element of social commentary to the film. Something very interesting happens with the nature of punishment in a lot of gangster movies, and it's that gangsters tend to be in charge of doling out the punishment much more than the law. So, for example, gangsters kill each other when they get out of line, and in many gangster films, the law of the police and that of the courts isn't nearly as feared as the law of the gangsters themselves. So I'm sure that there's a lot of other things that could be added to our list, so please pop into the group and discuss this, because it's going to be really exciting. But coming up next, we're going to look at the gangster genre thematically and by story type, and we're going to gather some more interesting terms and structures that will help us think about stories and how gangster movies operate, and it's just a really interesting thing to think about. I hope you're enjoying it so far, and if you haven't already, please pop a quick review on the course and then come into the discussion area to talk more about crime in the crime genre.